Nemesis Reborn, possibly one of the most unique roller coasters in the world. And it is arguably the best at its home park, Alton Towers in Staffordshire. Even after the retrack and the retheme in 2023, it still holds up to be one of the most iconic roller coasters in the world. The amount of theming on this coaster is insane, and as a coaster enthusiast, I love theming, and this ride delivers with it, not just around the ride, but in the entire area. The giant creature on the outside of the station looks absolutely incredible. The movements of the claws around the eye are a bit janky, but that's nothing to complain about when you actually see the eye. Inside the station looks just as good, with all the veins and whatever the hairy things are on the ceiling. It's probably the best station I have ever been in on any coaster, which is not saying much yet because I've only been to 4 different parks, but it is still really good. Onto the actual coaster now. So first, you head off to the right and then up the lift hill. And then you dive to the left with your photo and then into the first corkscrew. This corkscrew is very whippy and delivers in what it is trying to do. Then you go into the very forceful helix. On this moment, I always grey out. I don't know whether I like it or not, but it still delivers with those positive G-forces. Into the zero G-roll, which is very floaty and, again, delivers in what it tries to do. I'm beginning to see a pattern here. And then you rise up into a turnaround and into the main drop into the vertical loop, which is probably the most significant moment on the ride and my favourite part of the ride. And then you go into a little turnaround, which is the least intense moment on the ride and the only part that doesn't really do anything. But then you dip down into a tunnel and go over the final corkscrew, which is just as good as the first. And then you go round and into the final brake run. The ride definitely does pack a punch, but the only problem is it's a little bit short. I would like it if it is a bit longer, but it still delivers. The coaster itself is very intense, as it should be, and the area around it looks incredible and beautiful. Nemesis Reborn had big shoes to fill after the original Nemesis. It reached the level of the original Nemesis and, in my opinion, exceeded it due to more theming being added to Forbidden Valley. As the final score, I would give it a 9 out of 10. It would be a 10 out of 10 if it was a bit longer, and just because my type of ride, I prefer airtime, but there's nothing Nemesis Reborn can do about that. Overall, it is still my favourite at Alton Towers. I can see this legendary coaster lasting until 2050. After that, I'm not sure what will happen. But personally, what I think should happen is Nemesis Reborn should get retracked into Nemesis Reborn Rebirthed. Such a great idea.